Hello there, and thank you for joining me today. It's nice to have you here. I'm Suzanne Roth-Paul, in case you don't know me, and this is you're new to my live events here on Thursdays. I'm a certified primal health coach, and I'm the author of the Poisons in Your Pantry ebooks. And I'm all about using safe and harmless foods, but also products. And that's one of the reasons why I do these product reviews, and I'm actually doing a lot of talking about Lifewave here on these Thursday conversations because I really do support products. Products are just as important as the food that we're eating, and it's just as important as what you put on your body to be safe and healthy. And it is exactly why this product is so amazing. And I want to emphasize that we also have we have a time in our life right now where fortunately we're being talked about the poisons in our world and our environment, and especially our foods and our products. So if you're paying attention, it's an exciting time that a lot of these companies are being busted for harming us for decades. And what's so wonderful about LifeWave, this wearable technology, which we're going to be talking about today, is that it is a 20-year-old company, and it was founded by David Schmidt, our founder, to create a product that was not only harmless but safe to use. And that's really something that 20 years ago, our founder started a company with the concept that he wanted something that didn't have to require, artificial stimulation, whether it's with caffeine to keep you awake, or whether it's, terrible SSRIs that are and pain medications that, harm our gut and harm our brain. And so that's what is really superb about this product. So I'm glad you're here. If you are new or somebody's introduced you to LifeWave and you're here for the first time, either watching the recording. But if you are new to LifeWave in general, you're going to get a real treat today. I have a special guest that is near and dear to my heart because he also happens to be my sponsor. But John's going to share with you some really incredible testimonials that he's experienced with using the patch, the length of time that he's been with LifeWave, and his personal friendship with our founder, David Schmidt. Now, I love this company, as I said, for so many reasons. But one of the things, if you are new, I just want to, quickly share with you that LifeWave's patches come in a little sleeve that looks like this, and it's a 30-day supply. Now, we are going to be probably talking about our signature patch, the X39, which was created in 2020. And this is the product that's actually really launching LifeWaves into the spotlight and is, making it a million dollar company worldwide. And John can talk a little bit more about that as well. He's been with the company for a long time, and he knows and has been watching the success of this company grow exponentially in the last few years. So that's what this sleeve looks like that the patches come in. And this is what the patch looks like. It's a little disc with an adhesive back, and it sticks on your body. We like to say you stick it and roll, and it's that simple. And it's non-transdermal. Nothing enters the body. It's based on phototherapy, similar to when you go out in the sun, and helps support the creation of the hormone vitamin D in your body. But the sun doesn't produce vitamin D. Your body naturally does it by the heat or the stimulation that it receives from the sun. And that's what these patches do on particular spots on the body. And they're based on acupuncture points, if I didn't say that already, on different places on the body. But you can also apply it on points of pain or points of injury, which we're going to show you some examples of that here just shortly. Now, we aren't going to be doing a deep dive today on any particular product or particular patch, but we are going to be talking generally about LifeWave. And my special guest, as I said, John, will be sharing even some testimonial images. So it's going to be fun here once we get started. I do have a quick disclaimer that I wanted to mention, that we are talking about symptom relief only when we're sharing our stories, and John especially sharing his experiences. And there's no medical claims here. We are not, doctors, and we're not specialists in regard to any special disease or condition that you may have. But we do, of course, address symptoms. But if you are new to LifeWave and you are seeing a doctor under supervision under a specific condition, you just want to make sure that this product is safe for you and you share the information with your doctor. But otherwise, it's very safe, and most people, if not not many have any issues with the use of the product. Now, I'll give you a little backstory on John before I bring him on. John, again, as I said, is my personal sponsor with Lifewave. He came highly recommended, and I will say John has not let me down. Not only is he sharp as a tack, he's super, super, super knowledgeable about the product and about the company, and passionate about helping others, which is what is so important about the work that I'm doing and the work that we're doing as a family of Lifewavers, as we really care about people's health and longevity. And that's why, most of us are doing this work. And, a lot of people came into Lifeway too, just wanting to use the product for themselves. And they've turned into wellness warriors, like those of us that are health coaches are really in depth, diving deep into taking care of folks with, serious conditions, to helping them eat better, having better lifestyle, making better lifestyle choices, and obviously using safer products. And so John is also an expert with the patches. And I love the fact that when I started, he, again, we don't know a lot of the folks that we bring into this company, and they come to us, sometimes by recommendations. And John really opened his heart to helping me with my own conditions and situations that I had at the time when I started with Lifewave. And then he also was able to help a lot of my community that needed patching expertise. And I love how John jumped in right away, and he's so knowledgeable. And we're going to hear a lot more about John and his wisdom and his ability to, communicate well, and his relationship with David. So John, why don't we go ahead and bring you on and say hello to you? It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a while. There you are.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for bringing me on. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, good to see you. Oops, you froze a little
On
bit.
the Zoom. Uh,
You there all
can you
right?
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You just froze for a second.
Okay. Yeah, nice to see everybody here. I see Kristen, Mary, Donna, Nikki, and many more, Sherry, and Robert. My God, it's been a while. So I'm so happy to be here tonight to share whatever I can with you all, and a lot of new people I've never had a chance to meet. And thanks again, Suzanne, for all you're doing and all the brilliance you're sharing with everyone on a weekly basis. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, John. And I didn't also emphasize that you've been kind of a business coach for me. You've been coaching me all along about my passion for helping others and for, just getting the word out about this incredible product. So, of course, I really appreciate all that I've learned from you, from the patching expertise to the business expertise. You're a wise man. And I'm honored to know you and to be your friend and to be on your team. And so, I thought what we'd do is start a little bit, because you've got some great stories about David, and you've also got a history with Lifewave. And tell us a little bit about, how long have you been with Lifewave? I can't even remember. And what brought you to Lifewave?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story for me. It's one faded afternoon. I was working with our business partner, Stephen Huang, Dr. Stephen Huang, who actually the founder of a foundation here called Home of Angels in Southern California to help family with autistic children. And so, I go to a lot of the fundraising events and dinners and so on. This particular day, we had a luncheon, and you can imagine a restaurant full of autistic kids from 3 to 23. And, it gets pretty noisy and unruly. And this day, I was sitting next to Nikki and Julian. So you may know Nikki and Julian, our team
Or,
leader here.
or Patch
Uh,
Queens?
Yes, and so I was there just, chit-chatting. And to the right of me, there was this kid. He was about 12 years old. He was just not having it. Poor kid. I mean, his eyes rolled and his jaw stuck out, and he was just, you know, uh, my God, he was almost monstrous. I remember that. And so Nikki got up, and I'm kind of watching a little bit, and she talked to the mother, and then I got sidetracked with something else, and another minute goes by after Nikki sat back down. He was just nice and calm. And even another minute, I looked at him, and he was kind of smiling a little bit. And I thought, my God, this is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right before my very eyes. What happened? What did she do? And so just then, another little girl on the other side of the restaurant is having the same tantrum. And this time, I'm really watching. And she talks to the mom, And she takes out, I didn't know, something looked like a patch at that time. And the mom gave her permission, and she put this patch on the back of her neck. And I'm watching this little girl who is having just a ferocious tantrum put her head down on the table. And I thought it's like, okay, well, did she put her to sleep? And she just raised her head back up, and you could just see her whole demeanor, just very calm down and collective. She got control of herself. And so that was a miraculous start just to see what was going on. I thought, what the heck is that? And so Nikki sat back down and asked her about, hey, what is this? What are you doing? And so she gave me a business card and she told me a little bit about the patches. And of course, as the afternoon went on, the whole restaurant changed. I mean, it was very noisy, and all of a sudden, within 20, 30 minutes of her walking around, patching different people, the whole restaurant was like a normal restaurant. And I remember turning to Stephen Huang. I said, "Hey, you notice any difference?" And I go, "What?" And he looked around and said, "Look how quiet it is." And he was shocked. He go, "What happened?" So that was my introduction to these patches. And
And
so,
to Nikki as well?
what's that?
And to Nikki as well. Is that where you met?
Yes, that's when I met Nikki and
Oh,
Julian.
I
Okay.
love it. Okay.
Yeah. So I got the business card. And of course, a couple of weeks later, I went back and went to the office, and they told me all about the Lifewave patches. And I thought, this is incredible. And at that time, this is 2017,
Uh-huh.
towards the end of 2017, actually. And I said to Nikki, I said, look, and Julian, I said, my dad, at that time he was 95, had a stroke. And his doctor told my brother and I that he would be bedridden for the rest of his days and for us to prepare for him. And so we did. Okay. We got him round the clock care at their home, and my mom and his home. And so Nikki said, yeah, we have these patches, and we have these protocol. And so that's how I thought, well, what the heck? Let me try these. And, basically for my dad. And
Hmm.
so that was the first amazing, well, second, next to seeing it
Yeah.
work on autistic kids that well, I thought that's when I became a diamond distributor, so I could buy these patches at wholesale because they required a lot of patches. And
Hmm.
at that time it was only $1,500. Now it's 16, but it's
Yeah.
okay. Everything goes up. So I bought that and I tested it out on my dad. I could see, within a few days that he was um he was having more energy, put it that way. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. This is good. Keep it up. And I taught the caretaker how to patch him. I printed out the protocol. And so they followed the protocol every morning, patching him. And I would call every day to check in on him or go down and see him. So within 45 days, and
Oops, I lost
I
you.
was out for a few days, and the caretaker called me. They were all excited how he wanted to get up and walk. Well, did you lose me?
A little. You're going in and out. Just a little
Okay,
bit.
am I back?
You're back. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So anyway, the caretaker were all excited, and I thought, I'll be back day after tomorrow, and I'll come in and check in on him. And they were excited that he wanted to get up and walk. I said, well, help him up, let him walk, let him get up and do what he wants to do. So
Yeah.
that morning when I came back, I went to the his house, and he wanted to prove to me that he can walk without his stupid walker, he says. And
Oh,
he was 95.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I took out my phone and I recorded that. And I'll share that link with you. So some
Yeah.
of you participants want to see that on my YouTube link. It's pretty incredible. So anyway, that when I saw that happen, I knew that I need to know more about these patches, because not only that, was he able to walk, and he continued to walk and get better after the 45 days that, okay, uh, he lived to be 100. He passed a couple years ago at 100.
Way to go.
And I'm so thankful to the Lifewave and these patches giving him a quality of life. Okay, we thought life was over for him in 95 when he was bedridden. He was
Amazing.
able to walk a block and a half to the park and a block and a half back every single morning up to the day he passed. And in fact, he went to bed that night and didn't wake up in the morning. So,
What a great
so
story, John.
yeah.
And I do remember that because at the time my father was 97 when I started, and your father, I think he'd passed already at that point. And you knew what I was
Mhm.
experiencing with my dad, and you stepped right in. And my dad has, an eye disorder, and you were his savior. You're like his guardian angel there because, same thing. Everything stabilized. And, we're not talking about quantity of life. I mean, it's good that we can extend our lives with, wearing something that reverses age, but it's quality of life. And that's what the patch did for your dad. And it's amazing to be that age and still get to see the results because you think at that age, no, they're too old. It's not going to help them. So what a great story, and I'm blessed to know that Lifewave has also saved my dad. My dad, we started at 97 and he's made it to
That's
100
right.
and still has his eyesight. And you helped me a lot with his patching protocol on his
Yes.
eyes.
And
So
he's still going.
he's still
And
going.
he is still going.
Thanks, Cheng.
Yeah.
Still going. All right. Well,
Yes.
that's a great
Yes.
story, and that's how it started with you. But then, so that's you. It's 2017 was when you officially started with Lifewave. Is that right?
Well, actually, then it was 2018 when I joined.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
yeah, it was 2017 because I say 2018 is because I'm an inventor by trade. And so when I find something that worked this remarkable, I need to tear it apart or I need to find out more about it and find out what makes it tick. So fortunately at that time, I asked Nikki, well, Nikki told me that Lifewave was opening up a new sister company in Europe called Siemens Biotech. Now,
Uh-huh.
Uh, David Schmidt's been distributing the Lifeway patches all over Europe, and a lot of the medical institution has been using Lifeway patches since the inception in 2004 of Lifeway patches. But at that time, they didn't want to be affiliated with a so-called MLM marketing
Mhm.
platform, which, you can't blame them. And so
Right.
David opened up a company called Siemens Biotech, specifically to distribute the same technology to doctors and hospitals and clinics in Europe. And they're still there today. So the European medical institution are using Lifeway products, not the same name, and I'm sure it's 10 times more expensive, but it's the same technology. So
Uh-huh.
at that time, they had a conference there in Copenhagen, and I was invited to go with a handful of people from Southern California. And so, of course, I wanted to find out all about this patch. And I want to share this with a lot of participants here because it's a very interesting story. Because when I went there, at that time, knowing what Nikki had and Larry and Julie had taught me that these patches are based on acupuncture principles. And a
Mhm.
lot of these protocols, as in our pamphlets, are directing us to put the specific patch on certain acupuncture points within our body. For example, behind the neck or below our belly button, because these are the central meridian points. And so I know enough of acupuncture, as most of you do. They're just needles sticking in different parts of the body. And how does it work? Who knows? It's a miracle, right? Well, at Siemens Biotech, there was the MC, Dr. DDA, who spoke in French, and we all had earphones with translated. So when he first started, he introduced himself and he talked about we science today know that the human body operates as a system, just like a computer, and that our energy, well, within the life force energy within the system, affects the entire system. You cannot change one without affecting the other. Okay, this is very interesting. And he said that you know that there are energy flows within our body that is more important than blood flow. Well, that caught my attention along with everybody else. An energy flowing through our body that is more important than blood flow. I thought, wow, this is good. And he flashed this picture of a woman with a ulcerated, what's that, the diabetic ulceration on the top of her foot. Okay. It was, I remember it's about a 2-inch wide opening. It's all swollen and it won't heal.
Right.
And then he showed on the side a Carillion photography showing the aura energy flow around this woman's body. And as you can see, the energy starts to diminish as it goes down towards her knee and then almost zero as it goes to the foot. And he said, now this energy flow, it diminishes as it goes down to the foot, but that means the foot is not getting the energy. He talks about, well, we have ways that we can reboot the system and allowing the energy to flow back to the foot. And the next picture was this woman's foot was healed. And he said, before that we can do this, when patients have ulcerations like this, we always have to end up amputating. But now we can reboot the system to allow energy to flow back through the certain part of the body, and the body will heal itself. And I thought, wow, that is fascinating. And that's how he's introduced the Lifewave patches, talking about how the Lifewave patches uses light frequency, just like acupuncture principles with using the needle to these specific, he called those the energy highways throughout the body and all the different energy gates that's located within the body. And he said, would you like to know where these energy highways are located on the body? Of course, everybody said, yeah. He flashes up a 5,000-year-old acupuncture chart.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, the other thing is, he says, we now today know that these meridians, which I always thought in my early life, you see these lines, it's like, that's voodoo. Well, how do they know about these energy lines? They don't correspond with veins or arteries or anything. And he's shared with us that these meridian lines are made out of collagen fiber within the body, physical collagen fiber located in exact positions that communicates with our body organs and brain, with the whole system via light frequencies. And you know what? That light bulb went off my head. I thought, I got it. Because of the rest of the 3 days, all that science went over my head. Okay. But I walked away with that opening and said, okay, I get it. Okay. So I wanted to share that with all of you.
Yeah. And
that's very remarkable. But, the simplicity.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to ask, was David there? I mean, obviously he was that was his, so this Frenchman was introducing the product, but where was David Schmidt in all this? Was he there?
Oh, he was there. Absolutely, he was there. Yes, of course.
Okay. That's when you
talked a lot, but this was just the introduction.
Okay, and so this was about Lifewave. And then did you, that's where you met him for the first time? David?
No, I had the honor of meeting him at the old headquarters in San Diego.
Okay.
Because when as Nikki and Julie and Larry knows, I'm just so inquisitive because I was just flabbergasted at how well it worked on my dad. Of course, the last thing on my mind, and I told Nikki this, look, I just retired from my corporate world. I don't want another business. Okay.
Right.
But as I started in 2018, I shared this product, of course, with my dad first, and I reached out to my brother and my immediate family. Said, I told everybody at that time, I said, look, okay, don't talk to anybody, but at that time, $1,500 to get the diamond, and I got $500 commission for every diamond I bring in. So I told my brother and my sister-in-law, says, hey, get this diamond, do this protocol for 3 months and get yourself, this master tuner. And so I said, you enroll as a diamond, I will give you back my commission. So, instead
Wow.
of $1,500, you just invest 1,000. So, my brother, my sister-in-law, everybody jumped in and did that because they saw what happened to my dad.
Yeah.
And of course, my best friend, here's a quick little story. I don't want to take up all the time, but this is important, I think, to share. My best friend from college, he's my age. I'm 72 now. And this is back in 2018 when I shared the protocol with him. And he drinks a lot. Okay. I said, you got to give yourself a tune-up. So he did. So 3 weeks after doing the protocol using the patches, he came down and took me to lunch. Uh, and he shared with me, he says, my triglycerides was 150 10 years ago. And he said, and they slowly climbed over 200. And he was kind of concerned about it. And I didn't even know. So he takes regular blood tests and so on. He said, when I started this patch, that was only 3 weeks of him using it.
Wow.
And he pulled out this piece of paper. He goes, you have any idea what my triglycerides today? And I said, no, no idea. What is it? He goes, 50. I go,
My goodness.
what? 50. It was 200 and it was lower than what he was 10 years ago. So he
Wow.
was, is again another miracle with direct testimonial from friends that I helped. And of course, my sister-in-law was another thing. She had, bad knee replacement, and she never got knee replacement and so on. Within the early days, it's just immediate family, helping immediate family and having people just have miraculous recovery with different issues. Okay.
Oh,
That's when
yeah.
I knew I needed to share this with everybody I know. So I wanted to know more. That's what led me to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
But I know I divest, but when you asked me how I met David Schmidt, it's like when I told Nikki and Julie and Larry that I wanted to know more. That morning, there was opportunity to go down to San Diego. There was only 12 of us, I remember. And so I went down there and I met David that morning. It was an amazing experience because and this leads into another interesting story, goes into a testimonial I want to share with you. Um, so I met David Schmidt that morning, and fast forward about 6 months after, there was the first Lifewave conference in Las Vegas. And of course, when I met David, I didn't really have a chance to personally talk to him too much that morning because he had an agenda and we had 12 people and so on. But 6 months later, there was the Lifewave conference. There was, hundreds of people around at that time. David was walking in the room. There's a bunch of people around him, and I was just one in the crowd. And our eyes just happened to meet. He looked up and go, "Hi, John." He reached out and shook my hand. Now, I didn't have a name tag on. I
Uh-huh.
was blown away. I thought, my God, this guy must have a photographic memory, which he does. Okay.
Yeah.
And so after Copenhagen, at that time in 2018, I met all of the Lifewave customer service who was stationed in Galway, Ireland. And
Mhm.
they knew that I was there at that conference, and so came back. They referred a lady to me, which is the first person outside of the immediate family, who wanted to know more about the Lifeway patches because um, she read something, I think it was from Suzanne Summers' book about
Mhm.
the Lifeway patches, and she wanted to try it. So I called her on the phone, and I thought at that time I was talking to a 92-year-old woman because of her energy. And of course, immediately I knew how sharp she was. And I told her, she asked me some amazing questions. She was very intelligent. She turned out to be a registered nurse who got into a major car accident, which exacerbated a lot of the issues that she had from sepsis and so on. That car accident broke just about every bone in her body, poor thing.
Wow.
So I, of course, went to Nikki because I was brand new, and I thought I asked them what they should patch with, and of course, they fall back the yin yang protocol, which I did on my dad and so on. So I recommended that to her. Um, this brings me to an interesting thing because she started patching, and 3 days later, um, she texted me with a picture of her tongue. And I want to share this picture with you. Can I do that now?
Yeah, and John, we're
And
really
I'm going
having
to
a hard
share
time.
this
We're having a
screen.
hard time seeing you. You're going in and out, so your camera is not showing very clear. Do you have, maybe you can back up a little bit,
Oh,
maybe
really?
do it. Yeah, so go ahead and show the picture. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, you're very fuzzy. Sorry,
Okay.
we can hear you. You're kind of
Really? Okay.
out. But let's see if we can see the picture. Maybe that's okay. But there we go. See, the picture's good. That's good. Okay. Oh
Can you
my,
see the
look
picture?
at you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, there's you
Okay.
with
This
David.
is interesting because she texted me that morning, showed me this picture of her black tongue.
Oh
And
yeah.
she said, John, is this supposed to happen?
Oh no.
And I was just shocked. I thought, oh my God. And guess what? I happened to be down in San Diego again that morning, standing next to David Schmidt.
And
So
there's
I
the
said, hey,
picture on your
Dave,
phone. Oh no.
yeah. Now, Julian showed me this. She shot this picture as I was talking to David. So this
Uh,
is so perfect. And David looked calmly down at the picture, and he says, ask her if she has any mental toxicity. And so I texted back and she says, oh, yeah, I had to have all my uh, fillings removed last year. And
Oh
oh
wow.
my God. Yes. So this is how powerful the patch is. The black, she said, comes up in the morning and lasts for about like an hour the first time.
Mhm.
And at 3 days after that, it just got less and less, or it lasted less and less. And then on the fourth day, there was no black.
Oh my.
So
And that
here
was
it is.
Y age, John? Excuse me, that was Y age?
Yeah, this is probably the glutathione within the yin yang protocol.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Because glutathione chelates heavy metal out of the body.
Amazing.
Okay. Isn't that amazing?
That is. And
Yes.
he probably at that time was also not getting the amalgams removed safely. They now have protocols. I don't know. Maybe she was. I had mine done back in 2011 or 12 or 13. So maybe she was getting them. But man, that is dangerous to see all of that. But thank God that
Yes.
it helped her. That's an amazing
It
story.
absolutely helped her.
Yeah.
Now, Jacqueline Doan was a special person because she continued to get better and better.
Okay.
And she turned out to be a very vivacious, beautiful 57-year-old, not a 92-year-old.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
And so a couple of months after she started using the patch, I got this email on Thanksgiving Day, and it's a big long email basically outlining all of her issues. And the email was titled, Thanks for being the miracle in my life. And at the end, she said when she started with these patches, she was just hoping these patches will help her with her energy because as a woman, her intuition, she knew that she was not going to make it. She was hoping that these patches would give her enough time to the end of the month so she can get her affairs in order. Oh my
Oh,
God, Marianne and I was so touched that morning when we read that email. And
uh-huh.
thanks for saving my life. And I thought, my God, I never saved anyone's life before.
Yeah.
And so that particular email really was the turning point for me. I thought, all right, I got to step up and kind of share this with, as many people as I can. So the rest is history. And here you are, and here a lot of you here who know with me doing this and
As a
sharing
result.
this
Yeah.
with other people that you know. And this is the most important thing. It's so rewarding.
Yes, and I guess the moral of that story is don't wait. Get on it right away because some of us did that. We hesitated on really taking it seriously, and those that have taken it seriously and that started right away, they've started improving their. I always laugh and tell with the age reversing that anybody who's not wearing the patches, we're going the other direction. We're getting younger, and they're going in the direction of getting older. So it is a good point, John, about getting involved as soon as you can and sharing because look at the lives that were touched. Look at the this woman. I know she didn't live though, right? She was able to get her affairs in order and then she passed away. Didn't she pass away or am I mistaken?
Oh no, she got her affairs in order and she basically opened up Utah for the Lifeway business. She got
Is she
on radio shows and everything. Yeah, she lasted a good 4 or 5 years, and then a couple of years ago, she had glioblastoma,
That's right.
the brain tumor, the rapid growing brain tumor,
Uh-huh.
and she died very, very quickly, unfortunately. What a big loss.
Yes, and you think about a quick death is certainly much more desirable than a long drawn out one, which probably would have happened to her had she had stayed on the track
Yeah,
she was. But what a great story. All right, John, well,
yeah.
let's jump into thank you for all of those beautiful shares. Let's jump into don't you have a really good picture of you and David? You have a really cute one of the two of you guys that I posted on the flyer. Do you have that one pulled up?
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull. Here's the cute one. Can you see this?
Let me stop my screen share. Let me watch yours.
I
Oh,
said
yeah, that's
multiple sharing.
yeah,
There,
that was just down the office in San Diego, which is great. We had time to visit with David and in the past, but
no, it's
not
really
anymore.
it's a nice one.
Yeah, going to the
Guys,
ear.
yeah, I gotta find. Hold on, just a second. Where did I have that? Because I had a couple.
Now the ear one's interesting because in 2000,
I,
actually
yeah.
2018, before 2019, a couple 3 months before X39 was released to the general public, it was
Uh-huh.
shared as brand partners or distributors at that time. We got to try the X39, and so there was a lot of anticipation of what it would do and so on. But it was wonderful. But you know, for me, and I'm sure a lot of you the same, you wear the X39 daily, and is it doing anything? After a couple of years, you don't know. Uh, you know, and knock on wood, and pretty good physical health, all in all. And then something like this happened with the ear, when Suzanne pulls that up,
I
show
can't
you.
pull it up. It's not coming. So you had it on
Oh,
yours.
really?
You weren't able to pull it up. No, because I think I'm flashing back and
Okay.
forth to people. You had it there, but when you click on it, it doesn't open. Because you have a video of it as well.
Yeah.
We need Nikki here. She's there in
Well,
the audience, but on her Instagram page, she shows the before and after of the tear that was. I mean, I probably, if you could just
can you
open,
see my screen now?
I do. Yeah,
Okay. Here's one. I'm gonna try to open that and continue to talk as there.
there
Can
it
you see
is.
that? All
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
So what happened is that this is a couple of years ago, after 3 or 4 years of using the X39, you forget what it would do. And so this particular incident, I had a dog and he was 13 years old, and it was a big Rhodesian Ridgeback. His hip was giving out. It was literally the day before I had scheduled to put him down. So he was outside and he wanted to get up. Of course, he was having a tough time with his hind leg. So I straddled over him and picked him up. As I picked him up from the back, my head was right down to his, next to his head. I hurt his hip. And just in the reflex flinch, he yiped and kind of nipped my ear. And I go, oh my God, I stood up and he split my ear in half.
Oh dear. Oh,
Yeah. And
that's so
so
bad.
I went to ER and at the Huntington Hospital here in Pasadena, and my brother-in-law, actually Marianne, my wife's cousin, is the head of ER. His name is Dr. Brandon Liu. Of course, he was not in at that time, but with the phone call, I did get the VIP treatment and got into the room pretty quick. So it was Fourth of July weekend, and they were very, very busy. I sat there for a couple hours, and uh, finally the nurse came in, one doctor came in and kind of cleaned it up, and he looked at it and go, whoa, okay, what you're going to need is plastic surgery, and because of the extent of the tear and on the ear.
Yep.
And I thought, oh boy. And of course, they didn't have the plastic surgeon in at that time. So he said, he would call him in, and he should be in within 45 minutes. I waited another 2 hours, didn't come in. So long story, a little longer is that by this time, it's around after 10. I went in around 5-ish, because I was barbecuing outside when Kona, my dog, had this issue. And so I was worried about Kona still being outside. So I just got up and left, left the yard with a
The
Band-Aid
torn
on my
ear.
ear.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, with just a Band-Aid on my ear. And I came home. Thank God Kona was able to get up by himself. He was in the house. So the next morning, Brandon called me about 11 o'clock. And he said, hey, John, they told me you left. You got to go back because, it's tendons and this and this and that. And I said, okay, okay, I will. So I went into the bathroom. I thought I would just clean my ear a little bit, pull the bandage off, and I saw this. Okay. This is 14 hours. And these 3 shots were a video that I shot that I sent to Brandon. I said, hey, Brandon, look at this. And he couldn't believe it. He goes, what the did you do? I said, you remember those patches I told you about a couple of years ago? He goes, yeah. I said, yep, that's it. And he couldn't believe it. Now, Dr. Brandon Liu in Huntington Hospital, the head of director of ER, has been using X39, X49 daily since this. Okay.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so I have the picture here. Marianne shot this picture of me in ER to send to Brandon. I thought I would document this. This is 14 hours. And then after 7 days, I can kind of tug on it.
Unbelievable.
And then here it is. After 30 days, I can pull on it and you can't even see a scar. Look at that.
Now,
It's
you may have said it, but I didn't hear it. My husband was interrupting, coming into space for a second. Did you put an X39 on the bandage that you put on your ear, or was it on your neck?
no, all I did that night with the Band-Aid on my ear, I'd put an extra X39 on that night,
On that.
just on top of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I wear X39 on the back of my neck a bit. I'll alternate it between, back of my neck or below my belly button daily. So I already had X39.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I was going to, an Eon for reducing inflammation. I thought, well, what the heck? I'll just put an X39 on. And I just had it on that one night, the first night.
And you had
And
already,
that's it.
so it started to heal already, because that's the miracle of it, because I've seen it too, where it just starts to heal right away. And that you
Right.
didn't, I mean, you know, the earlobes are supposed to be impossible to heal. And once they say, like, if you've got earrings and the hole gets torn through, they say there's nothing you can do. I don't want to test it, but man, I'm grateful to know that I've got the patches if that happens, because a lot of us wear our earrings that pull that hole down, and they just said that you can't repair it. Look what happened. It was slid open.
That's
That's a bad
exactly what,
ear.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
amazing.
exactly what Dr. Brandon Luth told me. And he says,
Yeah,
let me know. And I kept this I had it documented for him. And that's why
exactly.
he's a believer now.
And uses. I hope he shares the patches with that. Now tell a little bit about your dog, because you had a picture of your dog too prior to your dog
Yeah.
saying had
Oh,
hindquarter hip issues, and you were patching with the X39 too.
I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot of testimonials from, I mean, it's abundant for just in our Telegram back office,
Yeah, right.
where Nikki had collected all the testimony, a lot of testimonial from all of us members. And there's a lot on there with animals, but no testimonial is better than having your own. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, so you can share testimonials with people. But yes, my dog Kona, and I'll just show you since I'm sharing my screen. Um, he again is a 13-year-old Rhodesian Ridgeback. Um, and
Yeah, a lot of
So let's
times
see.
they lose their ability for their hindquarters. My sister had a hard time. Her dog couldn't get
Here's one. Yeah, I just patched him along.
his
Well,
spine.
I have some on his, yeah, along the spine. I had some on his stomach before, but this seems to work right here in the back of his neck and back of his skull. So this actually gave him, I would say, at least 9 to 10 months more of quality life. All
Uh-huh.
right. And so at the end, he was just getting too much. So that's it. And I had to put him down. These
Yeah, because
patches,
you had some on his tummy. Well, again, it's not necessarily extending their life until they're ready to go. It's relieving pain. It's allowing them to still have movement. It really does go back to, the integrity of your of being self-sufficient and being able to still do things without having to be carried around and moved around. And that goes for animals just like it does for humans. And it is truly
exactly.
Truly, yeah, you've definitely seen a lot then with your own experience. Had you have, not moved forward because the science it is kind of interesting. A lot of people don't want to try the patches because they think the science is too woo-woo or it doesn't make sense. And so when people think that I don't know, I look at it as if you're in pain, most people want to try anything. And we're using medications and we're using surgeries like we're not automobiles, we're not car parts that can be replaced and taken out so easily. And so it's fascinating that this industry is still kind of misunderstood. And as far as I'm concerned, every doctor should be using this, but they're not because it's, big pharma's got a hold on most doctors. So you're really lucky that you introduced it to some specialists that are willing to use it. And, I think that's
Absolutely.
really important. And so for those of you that are life waivers, be sure and try to talk to these specialists. But they do have a little, hesitance of it because of people, it's a little bit different because it is direct sales. So you do have to buy in a different format than you would. People can pay by retail and stores. Doctors do have them in their offices like retail products, but I think it'll get there. You can talk a little bit about Lifewave. We're exploding right now, and it's going to be next year. If you don't know about it now, you're going to know about it in the year ahead because David's now he's getting a lot more recognition. There's going to be a movie about him and about his technology. So Lifewave is going to be mainstream before we know it. And it's advised to get this to people as soon as possible because people are going to be joining and signing up, especially now with our political arena looking at the damage that all the poisons in our foods and the poisons in our medications and the poisons in surgeries are causing. So people are going to be willing to try things that are alternative. Don't you agree
I
that
want to share.
yeah,
I want to share something with everyone, and uh, I've shared this with many, many doctors. I do have about 13 doctors in my downline.
good.
One thing about doctors, and some of you maybe here, is how I shared with you, and you can't tell doctors anything, okay? You
Right.
let them tell you. So
Exactly.
you could just tell them a little bit about your experience with the patch, and you know what? Send them the clinical study. Every one of these patches, X39, have tons of clinical studies in our back office, in the front office too.
Yeah.
So go to the clinical study link and say, you want more about, let me send you the clinical studies and let them read it for themselves. And after they read check out the clinical studies for themselves, give me a call back and I'll help you get these patches.
And that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I know there's a
Absolutely.
lot of doctors
Especially, yeah.
that are using LifeWave. There's I don't know the numbers, but worldwide there's a lot. So
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
good point. That it's really good to do that. I just have had some naysayers in my life that have said, they still don't believe it, and that's okay. I don't. You just move on
Okay.
to the people that really do want to heal harmlessly, and
Right.
again, there's nothing more safe than putting like something like this on that we know is not harming you, but the benefits are, far outweigh any skepticism. All you have to do is try it. And I love John. When I started, I had a lot of inside job work that needed to happen, and it was around COVID time and the pandemic, and we didn't have hairdressers. Nobody was doing hair. And you asked me after 6 months, have you noticed anything? And I was probably hemming and hawing that no, I didn't. And I still was kind of like, having some of my symptoms. And you said, well, how's your hair? And I said, you know what? I haven't seen a hairdresser now because of the pandemic, and it's blonder and it's looking longer and it's healthier. And I really hadn't even noticed. And so I think that's the interesting thing that I do want to encourage some of the folks that are on right now that are new. Take pictures like John did. Take pictures and you can see the difference. Because I pulled up a picture of 2019 with my hair and how dark it was getting and how gray. And it was during the winter. And you look at it now in the winter and it looks fine. So, pictures, pictures speak 1,000 words. You definitely need to be recording things and also recording what you are doing so that you can remember, when you are looking at things. Now, John, now your screen looks fantastic. You've been blurry most of the time, but now you've got good reception. I wonder if it was just reception in the house.
You know what? I just clicked it off of full screen. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Now I lost you again. I've been going back and forth. I'm probably driving our viewers crazy because I was trying to do the full screen and non-script and having us on gallery so that we could be side by side. Well, John, we do need to wrap up. It's almost 6 here, and a lot of people are going to do the top on the training here in a minute. But it's really amazing how the story and how you went through the whole transformation of learning and the science behind it, and then all the things that happened for your own family and friends and just your animal and all of those things you experienced firsthand. And it's interesting that the patch sells itself. It sounds like you're not having to do a whole lot of marketing. You have people out there that are coming to you. Is that right? We're coming to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've got enough downline.
Well, yeah. As I say to a lot of my downlines, if I was active, if I was back in doing this as part of my career, I'd be way ahead. But
Yeah.
I have other commitments that I have made from the very beginning. As I said, I'm an inventor. I have multiple projects going on still.
Yeah.
But my passion is this. I still, on a daily basis, do talk to a lot of people about different things on the patches, encouragement
Yeah.
for a lot of downlines. I have over 2,500 downlines right now, which is incredible because it's just growing. Like people
Yeah.
like yourself and
Yeah.
other team members that's on here. I'm more than willing to support anyone. I share my email or my contact with anyone who wants to, ask me anything. I'm more than willing to share what I know with you. Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing is, even though you are a busy person, you're always a text away. You were really good about supporting me on things that I needed, and it really has helped my own family too. I'm like you. I probably didn't see as many results as quickly as my own family, my father and my sister. And my sister says she would have been hospitalized numerous times had she not had the patches. And so, she is, my biggest fan, and I saw results with her before I even saw it with myself. So never give up on your own needs because, as I said, and John, we know this, it's an inside job. You have to work, your body has a lot of work to do and damage to clear up on the inside before you start seeing it on the outside. And I just think that, no matter what, we know that when we're wearing them, we are protected. I like that it is as supportive of our inflammatory support all the way to just detoxification and supporting your body and your cells are just needing so much right now with what we're being bombarded with. So it's a savior. It's a patch. It's my personal. My husband says I'm. What does he goes? You're definitely a patch expert. But you're also a patch queen because you wear these all the time. He says I cannot believe the amount of patches you have on. He calls me Patches. That's it. My nickname is Patches. But it is a little bit of I have to make sure I take them with me, and that's the beauty. We always have them with us. Okay, for some reason my video is showing that I might be kicked off here in a minute. I do pay for Zoom. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's say goodbye and thank everybody for being here. We had a nice crowd tonight, John, and I appreciate all your shares. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you. The timer went off, so I might be okay, but I just wanted to make sure something was kind of wonky there. But I look forward to talking to you again, John, sharing more stories with you, and seeing you has been a pleasure. So thank you for being here.
Anytime.
And
Great. Bye-bye, everybody.
okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.